Yes.
I just hit record, so.
Do you believe that being a teacher of these arts and philosophies and requiring, wishing, relying, or demanding money from it tarnishes your practice or your relationship with the arts and the philosophy?
It's, I spent a couple hours today on the farm, on the tractor moving compost, right? So it's all the stuff that comes out of the horses, and turning it over, and now it's raining. So the smell out there is going to smell like that. And if I picked, 9 people in town and said, what do you think? People will turn their nose up and say, I'm not interested. It smells. It's a problem. I don't like it. Keep it away from me. Da da da. But then I find a farmer and says, that's gold. Like, I'll give you money for it. Or what? You're giving it for free. Or I'll take more. Or whatever. So, is the compost bad? No. Is it good? No. It's compost. Are there people that see the value in it or can derive value from it? Yes. Is it fair for me to expect that most people won't be the people that see value in it because it's compost? Sure. It's manure. I can imagine, most people, they're like, I don't know. I buy potting soil sometimes at Walmart, and then I use that with gloves on, and I have my potted plants. But a farmer will see, a value there. Similarly, what some of those people value, the farmer will not value. Again, does that mean it's valuable or not? No. So I would say that, when we think about tarnishing, I think you said tarnishing your work or your practice,
like
or
your relationship with
tarnishing the relationship, that's really just a choice. Like, where do you see the value, right? Or where do you fail to see the value, or where do you see less value than something else? So I don't think the tarnish idea is an objective reality of anything.
I think to me it comes down to like the like everyone needs money, like and well, the only way that I'm making money is from these practices. So you need money. So that need can kind of, to me, I feel like it'll tarnish that. This basic practice.
It provides the opportunity for a tarnishment, but it doesn't necessarily tarnish, right? So, for one thing, I could have a regular 9-to-5 job and then just have 3 hours a week that I can teach people, right? And then I could maybe teach for free because I'm having this regular full-time job. And people do that sort of thing all the time. So, for me, it's my career. It's my only job. So, given how and where I live, I more or less need money to pay for insurance and get food in my stomach and medical bills and clothes, rent, these sort of things. So some of it's my choice. Like, this is all I want to do. So that means there's no time to do another thing that pays me. So if I need the income or feel I need the income, it has to come from the work.
Right.
Now, do I want to choose to see that as a negative or a besmirching of the thing or a sullying of the art or anything like that? I could choose to see it that way. And there are people that will encourage you to see it that way. But for me, I just see it's a mechanism, one thing that I know is, somebody, a wise friend of mine once said this. We're colleagues and we're talking about, I don't know, like starting a new class, or I'm thinking about starting a new class this summer at this place and talking about what it's going to be called or how long it'll last or which dates, kind of talking shop. And then one of the things is, what are we going to charge? Like, here's what I charged this last summer. I think I'll charge that. Or how does that compare to what you charge a similar class?
Right.
And I was talking about a class, in fact, that I was going to do, and I was like, well, this is a time I never book a client. There's just nobody wants to do a class at that time, but I'm up and at 'em, and I have a line on this group that's like like an old age home kind of thing, and they have a room and I can teach, and that time would work for them. I was like, I just want to do this as a volunteer thing, kind of just show up and give back, And he said, that's great, you know, nice to give back. They could use it. Good for you, all that kind of accolade stuff. But then he said, I'd love to share another opinion with you. If you do a free class, and what'll happen is 13 people will go, and the next week 7 people will go, and then you'll settle into 3 or 4 people that are there, maybe 2, for let's say months or years. Not quite what you had in mind. And he said, if you charge $1 for the class, I was like, yeah, but I interrupted him. I think I don't want to charge $1. I'm not doing it for the money.
Right.
I'm happy to just go there and share a bit with people that are fixed income, and they literally take the elevator from their apartment, and I'm in a room, and it's fun. I can get a coffee down the street when I'm done, and that'll be what I do on Thursdays. And he's like, hear me out. If you charge them $1 or $2, like something super minimal, he's like, you're giving them a chance to see the value of it, because that's how people tend to see value, through price. It's not the only way. But he said the reason that you'd be charging and you'd leave there with $7 or whatever, that doesn't mean you're doing it for the $7. But the $7 is representative of you're offering them a way to see the value of it. And he said if you charge $1 or whatever number, maybe he said $2, whatever. He said if you charge $1, you won't have 3 people in the class, you'll have 10. Which is kind of backwards. If you charge more, you get less people, obviously. He's like, well, if you're helping them see the value, they will see the value and then they'll respond. So I thought that was a helpful thing. For me, I don't really spend any time. I've talked about a bunch because it's a fairly common topic. Like, for example, I don't like the sort of experience of thanks for the money and here's your change, or thanks so much for the check. I just have a place, put the money there. I'll find it when I find it. Like, even before we started this, I found money you left 2 years ago sitting there in an envelope. I was like, because I don't want the experience of the relationship to be about this transfer.
Right.
It is still happening. People leave the money and I pay my bills and stuff. So to me, it's really like, you could allow it to, you could choose to see it that way.
Yeah.
But the fact is, I need to eat, I need to pay my utilities just like everybody else. And you go and buy gas and buy coffee and buy groceries and pay for a movie, and you pay for everything, whatever you're doing. And so do I. That's how we live our lives. So why is this supposed to be different? If, I was teaching and I'm retired and I'm teaching Saturday mornings in the park, there's not much in the way of sort of costs. Maybe it's a little easier to teach it for free, but there's costs to doing this, it's equipment, utilities, insurance, real estate, my own training, all these kind of, so we're sharing the costs. I have no doubt if I was independently wealthy, I wouldn't be interested in charging at all, or maybe I do the $1 thing, like,
sure.
So, I do tell students that for me, the hard part is scheduling. That's the challenge. That takes work, checking with and juggling and these days, wait, did they Facebook message me? No, they text. Let me check my email. Oh, they email me. I have to text them back, or like all the different ways you reach people to follow up. And so I always think that I'm charging people to schedule them. And then the teaching is free. Like, I always feel like that's the hard part for me, which is why I so enjoy having, like, the last class is just a standing appointment, so I don't really have to schedule it every week. It's really just if somebody's sick or vacation that we cancel or something, or they're but I just know every week At this hour, I do this on Thursday. At this hour, I do that on Friday. So we become regular, and that's
Right.
takes the work off me in that regard.
Yeah,
All right, makes sense?
it does.